What's up? It's your boy, the Palms Daddy, numero uno. Don't tell Jack Daniels I'm rocking this. I'm here with a short view today for you to get into the writing space here and what I've been working on. What I've done today is make a video for my online creative writing class where we've been talking about scenarios and strategies for revision. And I'm talking to them about how I'm doing with my revision for Young Junius. I'm showing them where I am on, and I hope that will be of interest to you too. You will hear me refer to Koch in the video. By that, what I'm talking about is Stephen Koch's book, The Modern Library Writers Workshop. This is a great text that we have been using in my class for the section on revision. Chapter 7 is Working and Reworking, Kenneth Koch. Great book, Modern Library Writers Workshop. You can get it on Amazon. My website, I'll put up a link so you can get me some kickback if you buy it. Also, if you just want a free PDF of that chapter, drop me an email. I'll be happy to give it to you. Or hit me on Twitter. What's up, guys? This is Seth, coming to you for week 9 from the dark side of the morning. This is what I look like when I've woken up at 6:30 in the morning to finish working on a scenario of a long novel project that I've been on. That's right, I got the classical music on because the kids upstairs are listening to some ridiculous 4- and 5-year-old music and singing along to it, which will probably go on for another 15 minutes. And I just finished, which is something that I started yesterday, my first scenario for the book that's going to come out in the fall, which is called Young Junius. Now, one thing that I should have mentioned to you guys last week is that music off. One thing that I should have mentioned to you guys last week is that your first scenario, definitely fine to go over 1,000 words. You were totally right in saying that 500 words is crazy for a novel. So we're talking about 1,000 words, but for your first scenario, it's definitely going to be longer than that. Coach says that 3,000 is a good length there, something to shoot for. I just did my first scenario of Young Junius, which is a novel that has 83 chapters and runs 130,000 words right now. Whoa! I'm definitely going to need to take off more than 10% of that. So 130,000 words, 83 chapters, and I just did a scenario which has a lot of notes in it in addition, like things like this chapter needs to change and that stuff. Sort of ideas to me. I've bolded them. You can see like some of the scenario here has bold in it that says things like this part needs to get trimmed. All the stuff that has bold is these next chapters are where I think there's room to trim. Problem here is that they have less far to go. This is like structural stuff, things that I want to change. Get Elf involved. Look to trim out this part here. So there's a lot of notes that I have here in this scenario, which I'm looking at and seeing as I went through the chapters to see what needed to go into the scenario. But the number that's important for you is that that scenario came in at about 3,700 words. So that includes the notes. Maybe let's say that it's 3,000 without the notes, so I'm sort of keeping there with Koch's requirements and standards. If there are 700 words of notes in there, I don't know. The reality is this thing is 9 pages long, but by looking at it like this and going through all the chapters in a kind of note-taking, outlining kind of way, I think I've really learned some stuff about the novel and that will be useful to me. The step that I did before that was to read through the entire novel, which is 225 pages, single-spaced. I've got it all right here. And so this, you know, Coach says to just read it, which I've done, but as you can see, I've also been making notes along the way. It's hard for me not to do some little writing of stuff in the pages. Also, my agent had gone over this draft and track changes, so I've got a lot of her edits in here that I basically just had to sort of, basically I'll approve them, a lot of them, because I think my agent did a really good job there, but, you know, it's good to go over that draft again, look at the changes that she made individually, and, you know, see if they're pretty good. Fortunately, I was able to get to a point where there are actually few enough changes that rather than go through the document and accept, I was able to just accept all of them, and then as I go through my notes on the pages, I'll be able to restore the few that I wanted to restore. So, if we say that my first scenario of Young Junius is around 3,000 words, here are my next steps. I'm going to put the scenario up on the wall with regular tape right over my writing space. I'm going to do that in a minute and then show it to you. And then it basically took me 2 days to do that scenario. Either later today or tomorrow, I'm going to do scenario number 2, where I'm going to try to really narrow things down. Scenario number 1 has every chapter in it numbered. Scenario number 2 probably won't. Although there's a lot of section changes and point of view changes that I need to figure out how I'm going to outline in that section because things really bounce around. But section 2 is going to be more along the line. Scenario 2 will be more along the lines of really, without looking directly at the manuscript and looking at that scenario that I have up on the wall more, is going to be another opportunity for me to boil it down even further. So, there's the dog. She makes crazy noises. What can I tell you? So, as we talk about when we're writing papers, the summary is a really good part of the process to show not only that you understand an essay that you're reading, but that you can put it into your own words and that you get it. So basically that's kind of what I'm doing with this scenario for my own novel. So the first scenario is really long. I've done that by summarizing the novel directly. Now I'm going to summarize the first scenario to something that's even shorter. So that hopefully will be somewhere on the order of 1,000 to 1,500 words. And that's what I'm thinking. Your second scenario or your third scenario would be what you would turn into the week 8 writing assignment. I'm going to go put this on the wall and then I'll be back to wrap things up. Okay, I'm back. This is my writing space, the desk. It's a mess. And so here's what I've done now. I have taped up this scenario of the novel to the wall here right above my writing space. It is this whole entire thing. 9 pages trimmed out. You can see it like this, and basically now while I'm working I can look up and see what's going on there. Also, as I start to deal with the parts that are bolded that I want to fix, I can start checking them off or something like that with a pen right up on there. I'll also do amendments with a pen onto this as I find new things that I want to change. But clearly this is too long to be able to read in a quick setting and to be able to fully wrap my head around. So the next step, like I said, will be to do a shorter, you gotta like the 2 monitors, huh? Scrivener up top, Microsoft Word where I'm writing the scenario at the bottom. So, clearly from the sitting point of view, that's even pretty high up there. This is a long document for me to look at, and so the next step will be to boil it down further and do a scenario that I can tape up over here in this space, hopefully in about 3 pages or so. So if I can do that in about 1,500 words or less, we'll be in good shape there. That is the next step. And this is me on the video. Okay, so now I've got that up on the wall, and it's early today still, so I'm listening to Koch. Since it took me more than 1 day to do the first scenario, I might try to do the second scenario later on today. I'm going to let things percolate and gestate in my head a little bit. But now the first scenario is done, it's up on the wall, and the next step is to do the second scenario, which will be shorter, working off of the first one. And like I said, I might get to that today or tomorrow. Koch's idea is that you do 1 scenario a day, and so we'll see how that goes. I hope this look into my writing space and my revision process at this point was useful to you for the spring launch and fall release. That's going to be exciting. More on that in the coming weeks and discussions, and I will see you guys in the forums.